I am making a video on how to remove a starter. I think the simplest way to remove a starter from a 2005 Mercedes E500 W211 chassis. Here's the starter. I have the car jacked up on all four jack stand positions. So the car is supported on all four jack stand positions. Here's the starter, and I'm up under the car now, and this is the space within which I use to remove the starter. So here's my transmission, and this area is where the starter goes. So here's where the starter mounts up with its hole to turn the flywheel. Here's the top starter bolt. Here's the bottom starter bolt. This is the connection that holds an O2 sensor wire. I'll put the wire back. It holds that wire. So you will remove the wire. And here's the O2 sensor. And there's a connection on the bottom of the transmission for the O2 sensor here. So all of this stuff is removed, but I'm just putting it back to show you where it goes. So this is one of the O2 sensors that you'll disconnect, and it's just a connection which you disconnect it, and you pull this off of the wire holder and move it out of your way. I stuck it over here. And then there's another O2 sensor here. So there's two of them on this part of the exhaust. So you remove these two, and I tucked it out of the way. But I'll show you guys exactly how it hooks up. So here's another wire holder that'll hold the wire, and then here's the connector. So you take it out of the connector, you remove it from the wire holder, and then you tuck it out of your way. And so I did that to both O2 sensor wires. And the starter, if I haven't said this already, the starter is removed. But for all intents and purposes, will act as if the starter is here. Just imagine where the starter would go. It goes right here in this hole. So these two bolts are a star bolt or star head bolts. Can't remember which size socket I used, but the way that I remove the starter is by moving the exhaust. And there's different bits of information that says to remove the exhaust, and they want you to remove it from here back, tracing it back through down the car close to where the mufflers are, and either there's another coupler like this back there. Either remove those bolts and take that connection of the muffler system apart, the exhaust system apart, and remove the exhaust that way, or they either just want you to remove the exhaust altogether. So the information that I found is saying, like, just remove the exhaust, where you are disconnecting it here and running it all the way back the full extent of the exhaust for every connection you can find, and dropping the exhaust. The other information is to remove this motor mount, jack the engine up, remove this motor mount by loosening this bolt here. It's like a 13 millimeter, I think, back there, which I tried, and it's hard to reach. I didn't want to go buy wrenches, to ratcheting wrenches and all of this to try to get it, and it's just an uncomfortable, hard spot to be in anyway. But the information says remove this and put a block here so that the engine is sitting on the block, but you jack the engine up a little bit, an inch above this mount. You pull the mount out, and then you put a block here to support the engine, and then you pull the transmission. I mean, not the transmission, sorry about that. You pull the starter from here, and you pull it forward. You pull it forward where this space would be, and up through the engine bay to pull the starter out. So those are two ways for the information that I was finding about how to remove the starter. So instead of removing this mount or removing the exhaust completely, I just move the exhaust out of the way. So this is a 13 millimeter bolt. This is a 13 millimeter bolt. Here's the coupler. You remove the bolts. Remove the bolts, and then it allows you to be able to pull this down and pull it over, to your right. Just pull it over to the side, and then you have all of this space here to just pull the starter out. And once I loosen the starter bolts, I just wiggle it back and forth to get the back side bail of the starter to dislodge from here, from its housing. And once I had it dislodged, I was able to pull it out of this hole here. And that's just for me just loosening two exhaust bolts and moving the exhaust out, out of my way. Just moving the exhaust as much space as I could to push it over to the right. And that ended up being enough space, and actually a lot of space, to remove the starter. So once again, two 13 millimeter bolts, two starter bolts, two clips, and two wire clips, harnesses, and two connections for your O2 sensors, and pull the starter out. That's pretty much it. Cut, dry, straightforward. So to me, that's the simplest way to remove a starter from a W211 Mercedes. Thanks for watching. If you guys like, hit the like button, and hopefully this helps you. It makes things easier when you remove the starter.